Let's welcome back to the show from the Fraternal Order Police, the National Vice President there, Joe Gamaldi. Joe, I mean, people are getting really increasingly angry about crime, and repeat felons let out back out in the streets.
Yeah, as well they should be. I mean, take the case of Mr. East, who was brutally murdered by a dirtbag who should have never been free on the streets in the first place. He's got a violent criminal history. He was already out on parole and had a parole warrant out for him. He shouldn't have been free. Or take, former Olympian Kim Glass, who was assaulted on the streets of California. This is what is going on right now because we have crime and disorder everywhere you look, thanks to our revolving door criminal justice system. And it's exactly why you've seen California's population decrease 2 years in a row to the tune of hundreds of thousands of people. People are fed up with this. A recent poll from the New York Times said that 60% of working Americans in this country want more funding for police officers because they want their communities to be safe. I don't know what it's going to take to get it through these politicians' thick heads that the American public, we want law and order.
We've got a lot of stuff to talk to you about tonight. Police are applauding a good Samaritan, they say, an armed citizen who shot a mass shooter who opened fire yesterday at that Greenwood Park Mall in Indianapolis. 3 were killed, 2 injured. Watch this. Well,
it was a very, very fast response, but I'm going to tell you, the real hero of the day is the citizen that was lawfully carrying a firearm in that food court and was able to stop this shooter almost as soon as he began.
What can you tell us about him? I'm sure if you want to tell us his name, that'd be great, but I'm sure
I can tell you that he's a 22-year-old male from Bartholomew County, and that is all that I can release at this time.
So people are taking their matters into their own hands, right? Let's look at this new video coming in. In broad daylight, smash and grab thieves stole more than $500,000 in high-end merchandise from a luxury retailer in Malibu. Retailers in the 7-Eleven stores, 7-Eleven getting hit with deadly shootings and robberies, 2 dead, and an estimated $50 million worth of jewelry looted from an armored vehicle in northern Los Angeles from a jewelry trade show. But California governor says that California is a model for the United States. What do you think?
Well, I guess if we want the country to look like a crime-ridden hellhole, sure, let's follow Gavin Newsom's lead in California. I mean, this was the same guy who was yucking it up at a fancy French restaurant while the rest of us were locked down, not wearing a mask. So, yeah, we should really follow the policies that he's laying out because it's working out so well for California as people are fleeing in droves. But, of course, people are taking, actions into their own hands because they don't feel safe, and they're being victimized over and over and over again, and people are tired of it. And listen, we as police officers, we are going to do the best job that we can possibly do to get out there, but we're 3 to 5 minutes away from the person that calls 911 and says they need help. And thank God that that individual who was lawfully carrying a firearm in Indiana was able to stop that shooter before we had a mass shooting event at that mall. And it just goes to show you that good guys that are on scene with a gun can stop a suspect from doing that, and we need to make sure that people can lawfully carry firearms legally and that they have the training to do it so that they can stop a threat like that.
The thing is, too, how can you collapse the border when cops in U.S. cities nationwide are dealing with rising crime? You know what I mean, Joe? I mean, you look at the numbers coming in from the FBI, the number of assaults, aggravated assaults in restaurants and grocery stores up 60% since 2020. Excuse me, let me rephrase, from 2018 to 2020. I mean, that's amazing. And you got the new DA in San Francisco, Brooke Jenkins. She fired 15 people, let them go, after Chesa Boudin had weakened crime fighting in San Francisco. So how do you collapse the border and when cops are dealing with what's already going on in U.S. cities?
Well, I'll tell you right now, we know that illegal border crossings are up over double just over the last few years. And we also know that it's not just people coming over the border, it's fentanyl, too, which is the highest thing that is killing Americans age 18 to 49 in this country. So it's a complete mess down at the border, and it's bleeding out into all our communities. And we're seeing what's happening with these local businesses, Liz. It's horrible. We have mom and pop operations closing up left and right because they can't afford to do business anymore, because they're being robbed all the time or having people come in with garbage bags just filling things up. And now we're seeing other companies doing it well. Walgreens is closing dozens of stores. Rite Aid is doing the same. Starbucks is closing dozens of stores in urban communities because they can no longer keep their employees safe. And the CEO of Starbucks said, this is just the beginning. I mean, what more bigger sign do you need in this country that we are completely out of control? We need to make sure that we're holding people accountable for their actions. No more slaps on the wrist. We need to get back on track and get us back to law and order.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when businesses flee, that ruins the tax base that you need to pay for cops, right? And property taxes go up. Joe Gamaldi, a pleasure having you on. Come back soon. It's good to see you.